Okay, so what I decided on this was I didn't have enough room to bring the arm around. I'm just going to do presents. So I'm going to carve this out. This is going to be a present, and this is going to be another one down below here. So that's my next step, is just to give some definition to these boxes. Okay, so this is where I'm at. I've got the box carved out, and to get it nice and square on these ends, I had to go a little bit smaller than I wanted. But I think on the bottom here, instead of making this another box, I'm going to carve out the word Santa, and then I'm going to have a flourish underneath that. So my next step is I'm going to kind of work out the beard. And how am I going to do this? I think we'll do something like this, you know, where the beard is actually flowing down and around like this, something like that. And the hairline, I'm going to have it kind of come down. The back of the hair is going to be like this. Yeah, something like that. Got to move that over a little bit to make it look right. Something like that. So that's my next step, is to put the beard in and continue along that way. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. I just took the V-gouge and I detailed out the beard, and then I did a V-gouge cut along the back for the hair. So the next thing that I'm going to do is establish where the hair ends and the beard begins. So I'm just using my knife to make a nice stop cut once again. And that just kind of goes like this. Then just carve up against that like this. Again, just using that stop cut as a guide. Like this. And over here, you just want to, you got to watch out not to go too deep, because you got the beard here, you got the hairline. So you do have to be a little cognizant of that. Go in with a smaller chisel. And you just want to give it a little bit of depth between the hair and the beard. Okay. All right. So the next thing is I'm going to take this and just follow some of these lines. Another stop cut. Like this. Like that. Putting a little pressure on it, but not that much. I guess I'll get this one too. Then what I like to do is just sort of establish a little variation in the beard this way. Little depth. Same thing over here, just on one side. Like that. Carve that out, give it some edge. And I'm going to continue doing that right up on around here. And I'll show you the next part where I do a little bit of beard detail. Okay, so this is where I'm at right now. Several things that I did in here. I had to delineate where the beard ends. I'm going to paint this red in the back for the jacket. And I'm going to cut this in real carefully when I paint it with the white beard, because this really, man, when you put that polyurethane on it, it shows all the wood grain detail. It looks really nice. So I think I'm going to leave this all wood grain detail, and this is going to be red right in here. This is going to be white for the beard, of course. So let's put some detail on the beard. And I think I'll start off with this. So that's a U gouge. I don't even know, this is one that I picked up at an antique store. So we're just going to start giving this a little detail like that. And you want these long flowing lines when you carve them, because that's how a beard goes. Kind of change it in the light too so you can see what you're doing. Same thing over here. Just like that. And I've got a finer U-gouge. This is a Flexcut. And I'm just going to give it a little more detail. You know, when you look at a beard after it's painted, where it's not carved really stands out. I mean, you don't think it looks bad until you paint it and you're like, oh, I wish I put more detail in that beard. Just take a little time. You can even turn the gouge a little bit to create some interest. Flip the piece around. Come in here, flip the blade while you're carving it. Just take a little time. It makes a big difference in the carving. Flip it, look for where you haven't carved. Just keep adding that detail. Light's really important. If you don't have good light, you got to have good light. Any place that you see that's flat, add some character to it. Don't hesitate to do it. Just like that. Same thing over here. And this is a little bit going up, like that. Okay. Now take your gouge or your V gouge like this, and just kind of follow those lines for a little depth. Like that. And like that. You don't have to do all of them, but just enough to kind of make it look like a beard. There you go. Now you're talking. This is starting to look like a Santa, finally. We want this to look nice. We don't want this thing to end up sitting in like a consignment shop, right? We want to take some time and put some detail in this so that somebody wants it. We don't like carving consignment shop Santas or Santas that don't end up in good homes. Carve a good Santa, he'll always have a good home. He'll never end up in a thrift shop. I'm just joking. You got to learn somewhere, though. Okay. Just adding detail to the beard, as you can see. Don't be afraid to do it. Keep turning the light so you can see where you need to carve. He's actually looking pretty good. The mustache needs a little work. Well, let's see. Let's use that same gouge that I just had. This is easy. A lot of this is strength under control. You don't want to push too hard too fast. You're kind of pushing and holding yourself back at the same time. You don't want to go too deep, like I almost did there. Like that. Then take that fine U-gouge, go in between the cuts. In between, like that. You know, 90% of a Santa is getting the eyes right, the symmetry right, the beard looking good. Typically when people look at a Santa and they see the eyes, and they see good eyes, I mean that's where the life of the Santa is in the eyes. They overlook a few miscuts along the way, but the eyes, you get the eyes right, you got it. All right, folks, he's coming along pretty good. So the next step is I'm going to shave this down. You know, this is too fat for a brim, so I'm going to shave some of that off, and I'm going to take this, I'm going to make that top line, so I'm going to establish the hat. That's what I'm going to do next.